You don't even know what to do with yourself, do you?
I don't know what to do with these movies.
All right. We're live with some newbies here. So.
Well, she's newbie, me not so much.
Right.
Yeah.
So you guys, you know, hopefully you remember Tina Gray. She's all over our Facebook page.
I try.
And Tina, I'm just gonna give you a little head, so you guys know Tina has had multiple procedures. How many now?
So in total it'll be 9.
Whoa. Okay.
9 procedures done.
That's a lot. And Tina also, because she's been referring us all this business, and now this is her Aunt Penny,
Penny.
who just had a procedure like literally 20-30 minutes ago.
Yep.
And she's now here talking about it.
Amazing.
And feeling good. Can't stop smiling. She's the perma smile.
Perma smile.
So Tina has had multiple procedures, and she took advantage of our referral program, where she's referred more than 3 people now.
More than 3 people, yeah.
Because of that, then you got a free procedure,
Correct.
and now you're referring more people.
Yeah, so anything moving forward, so my aunt, her referrals all go to, we're trying to get my daughter Shayla Gray done. So my Aunt Penny did hers, so now that referral go to Shayla.
Right.
So we can get her done.
And I just got to say, we get, there's always people that are like the haters and the complainers, and the people that are complaining like, I don't have that many people on Facebook or whatever. What do you have to say about that? Because I know you're on Facebook, but you're not like
right.
big on Facebook.
I don't really push it real heavily on Facebook, other than when we do our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I did my procedure live on Facebook, so people could see, like my Aunt Penny, because she was like, oh no, I don't know if I can watch.
Right.
And then she did watch, and she's like, oh well, that's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
Her biggest thing was the ice, being iced down. But
Right.
ask her, how was it, Aunt Penny?
It wasn't bad. It wasn't bad.
So Aunt Penny just had 360 lipo all the way around the waistline, and it went really well.
She has a butt.
Yeah, she's got a nice little butt now.
I was fat, skinny.
Yeah, so this is another thing that's kind of funny. Is I think that everybody thought that you were skinny, and
Yeah.
you were surprised.
I was surprised. What did you pulled how many liters out of her just now?
4 liters of fat.
Yeah.
I said, where were you hiding it?
Right, and I think by all means most people felt like you were skinny, and they probably thought you were crazy.
Yeah,
for
they
getting
did.
liposuction.
Yeah. They were all, Mom, you don't need that.
Right, but we proved them wrong.
Yeah, we definitely did.
And now you've got a nice little perky butt.
Yeah,
Yep.
stand up, show me your
Got a
butt. Doot, doot.
And Tina's got a butt too, and
I do.
So Tina was showing off her butt on Facebook,
Tina was showing her butt
posting
to me.
pictures of her butt.
Yeah. In a dress that was I kind of got some feedback on that dress, by the way. They were like, well, what? I picked that dress because that truly was a dress that showed my arms, my stomach, my hips, and
Right.
my butt.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I did get a little feedback on that dress, but I was like, you know what? Who cares?
That's good, right?
Gonna rock it, because that's what we women do.
Right.
We want to be sexy. We want to show off our curves, and
Right.
you pay to have this look. You want to show this look off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just say, okay, like I said, I got a little bit of flack from that dress, but I'm like, oh well. Haters, like you said, Trevor.
Right.
Haters.
Haters will be haters.
Right. There's those people that say, if this is fake, you should just do diet and exercise. I mean, what would you say to someone that?
I'm a vegan, been a vegan for a year. No dairy, no meat, no eggs, no chicken, no fish.
Very healthy.
Very
Very
healthy.
healthy.
I eat my 4 meals a day. I usually don't snack. I work out on my Gazelle 6 days a week, and on my Total Gym 3 days a week consistently. And he took out 4 liters of fat off my body.
And you've had a tummy tuck 20 years ago.
Right, and lipo 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So after all that stuff's been done, we were still able to get out 4 liters.
Yep.
Which is amazing.
I'm amazed.
Yeah.
I
I didn't think I'd have that much, but
But it's funny because we have to laugh, because when I went to Seattle and it was what, how many, it was, well, I
2
was just
weeks
there
ago.
2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But, so I only had my procedure, I'm going into my 90 days.
Mhm.
So I showed Aunt Penny and she's like, I want a butt. I want a butt. I said, well, when we go, show Trevor
Right.
your backside and see what Trevor thinks. So, because as Trevor says, you know, if you have, you know, we all think that we have a big butt or we have a butt that's like whatever, but when he literally, you see, you think you have a flat butt, but, and even as tiny as Aunt Penny is, he literally went in and sculpted above, you know, from here down
The lower back.
yeah. above her butt, and she now has a butt.
Already.
Right.
30 minutes
Yeah.
right away.
Yeah.
I put my pants on and I said, I feel different.
That's cool, right?
Yeah, it's really cool.
You're gonna feel way
But I
different.
would have never known that if Trevor wouldn't have pointed that spot out.
Yeah. I mean, that's
I had no
something
idea.
She
that
didn't.
most people don't realize, that the fat in the lower back, what it actually, you know, it stops your, it basically, when the fat comes out, it makes your butt look flat.
Yeah,
And so when you take that away, everybody's got an arch to their back, and well, most people,
yeah,
you know, 99.9% of people have that nice arch to the back. So when you take the fat away, it creates that arch again, which, you know, it just kind of,
Right.
it's just the curves, you know, it's the curves of the body. And, you know, I've been doing this for so long, it's like, I study the body, you know,
Yeah.
you study the curves, and you know, you see, and once you figure out what should be, everything else that's not that, it should go away.
yeah,
Right, so you figure out where the curves should be, and then when I see people, I'm like, okay, it's like a block of clay. I just see, like, well, that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be there, that shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's you know, nowadays we have Photoshop, but but with liposuction you can do it for real.
yeah. And we
real.
took out like a quarter to about a half a liter or so out of that.
Just out of
Just
the
out
little
of that little area.
Just that little area that
Yeah.
was above
Yeah.
your butt.
Yeah. We finished filling the thing, and
Mhm.
we had about that much to go, and we finished filling the thing just with that butt area.
Yeah.
That you didn't even know you had.
I know, I didn't know it. I didn't.
So
That's awesome.
It's exciting. Now, how long have you been thinking about getting liposuction?
Oh, what, about 4 months?
4 months.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And did Tina get you onto it originally, or were you?
Well,
was it
I've been
something-
thinking about it.
Well, I went, remember Trevor, when I had my stomach and my inside thighs done, I went and recovered at her house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, you know, I recovered at her house, came home, and then this last time when I went home for
Lloyd's.
my brother,
Services.
my brother's services, and showed Aunt Penny my second procedure,
Right.
she's like, I'm going to Trevor's in 2 weeks. I said, okay, Aunt Penny. And
You're
she's
like,
like, no,
"Whatever."
really. So she was sitting at the dining room table and she told her husband, May 2nd, I'm going home to Las Vegas and I'm going to get this done. And her husband's like, what? She said, no, seriously, I'm going to. And so I took pictures of her before I left Seattle to
Right.
come here and showed Brandy, you know, what we had, what she wanted done, and sent them to Penny. And literally the next day she booked her flight, and
Yeah.
here she is today.
The butt
Amazing.
sealed the deal.
Yeah. Sealed the deal.
It is totally did. I've had a flat butt all my life. The butt sealed the deal.
So now you literally, just got out of the procedure and recovery, and
Yeah.
now you're here. And so, can you talk a little bit about your experience with the procedure and our staff?
The staff's wonderful. Excellent. Trevor's wonderful. I was scared to death. Tina had me scared of the eyes. Because I put you on ice to numb you. And it really wasn't nothing. Right away, first off, it is. But then, you know, once you
Right. It's just that.
once you're
It's just
down
a
there.
gold, yeah.
Yeah. But when you first lay down on it, you're like, ah!
Right.
First part was the numbness. The numb part
Yeah.
was the worst part. But
How would you describe it?
it was just felt kind of burny.
Okay.
Little, but not bad.
Right.
I mean, not to be scared of it.
Right.
Just kind of, you could tell.
Yeah.
And the candela, nothing.
Yeah.
It actually felt good.
That's it's funny.
Yeah, yeah,
when I
yeah.
first started, she's
It
like,
actually
that,
felt good.
yeah, that feels good. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. Well, let's do that out there.
And there was a few areas where it was kind of burny,
Right.
you know, like on the sides here.
Uh-huh.
But like on my belly and that, it actually felt good. I'm
Right.
not kidding. I thought it felt great.
That's crazy.
Is that crazy?
That's crazy.
You know, everybody's experience is different. So That's why it's like, you know, even when people have bad experiences or they write reviews or saying, oh
Yeah.
my God, it was terrible. Like, that was one person.
Yeah.
Right. But I mean,
Yeah.
like, there's so many people that have great experiences and
Everybody handles
Oh, I had a
Yeah.
wonderful experience.
Yeah.
I loved it.
I'm so
I told Trevor when he first started doing the candle, I said, it kind of feels like probably how it feels when people get tattoos.
Mhm.
I said, I've never had one, so I don't know, but yeah, it didn't even hurt. Yeah.
Now,
and she's a big chicken, so
Yeah.
really?
so
I am.
she is the biggest chicken ever. So for
Biggest
Penny to be here, she's like, you know,
For Penny to be on this Facebook Live.
Yeah, that's it, right? So
But, yeah, I'm happy.
We have a lot of people that are concerned about age and saying that, you know, I'm too old for that kind of
Never
thing.
too
or like,
old.
So, you know, how, I mean, if you don't mind me
I
asking,
just turned 60 on the 25th of April,
and
and
you're 50 something, right?
55.
That's amazing.
you're never too old.
Right. So I mean, and you know, like, we have a video of this. We had a patient that was 80 something years old.
That is
and,
amazing.
And she had 3 procedures, and she drove herself home from all 3.
Yeah.
And I had to get her on video. This was like a long time ago, so we got her on video. Like, I
I'm
gotta
shocked.
document this.
I could literally go drive right now.
Yeah.
It would be nothing.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really it's amazing. And, you know, it's not like this for everybody. You know, some people struggle with whatever, but the amazing thing is that it's possible. This is possible that you can literally have the procedure and you can go out to lunch right now and
Yeah.
you know, just go about your day like it was no big deal.
Well, I popped up right off the table like it was no big deal.
Yeah.
You know, I'm just like,
all
he
that
says,
workout
I'm
you
done
do.
and I'm ready to get up. You know,
Right.
I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I
all
feel
that
great.
workout.
I do. I feel great. Bad. I don't. Well, now, my first lipo and tummy tuck, I did feel bad.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Well, 20 years ago they put you to sleep,
Yeah.
and then the tummy tuck was a lot more invasive.
Yeah.
And
But my lipo was worse. I never even felt the tummy.
Yeah.
When I was healing up, but the lipo hurt worse.
yeah, you know, it's so that's the magic of what we're doing different now is the fluids. So those fluids that we inject in there, it was a game changer.
Yeah.
And that's it. So remember you asked me like what color is the fat?
Yeah.
And you looked at the color of the fat. So the reason why it was yellow is because there was no blood. In the past, they would not put that fluid in there, and they would get lots of bleeding, and
Ugh.
people would need transfusions and
That much blood?
Oh yeah,
Oh, wow.
lots of blood. So they would bleed like immediately right from the beginning of the procedure and bleed so much they would just rush through it and get as much fat out as they can before they have to start giving transfusions. But the fact that they bled so much, the bleeding is what causes the bruising, and so more blood, more bruising, and it takes longer for your body to get that out of your system. So it's like that's what like it knocks you out. You know, so you're down for 2 weeks.
I
after.
was. It
Yeah.
was. I was down for over a week, and
Yeah.
I was pretty healthy back then too. We were avid worker outers
Right.
and stuff, but I'd lost like 70 pounds.
Right.
So I just had all that fat,
Mhm.
and that's why I did that one.
So I mean, this is really it's a testament. Now, like 20 years later, you're doing great.
Yeah,
You
this
know?
is totally different.
Right.
Totally. I thought I would be down, and I'm not. I'm ready to go party. If I drank, I would, but
Right.
I don't drink no more. So.
So I'm taking her home to put her to bed.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to bed. I feel too good to go to bed.
And so, and the cool thing is that this is not just your only referral today. This
No.
is your second referral today.
Today,
Today.
my other, I won't mention her because she doesn't want to be mentioned, but my other auntie was in here this morning
Mhm.
at 7. So I've been here all day,
Right.
since 7 o'clock this morning. I just ran her home, got her situated, ran back to come get my aunt Penny,
And do this
Get-
Facebook
get her
Live.
home to Facebook Live, and now I gotta go because I gotta go sign clients. So
Okay.
And I flew in from Washington State to go to Trevor,
Yeah.
too. So.
I was out there recruiting her last week.
Tina
I
was
think
out
he
there
really
recruiting. We should have got together.
I know.
I said, dang,
Yeah.
you should have just brought a little travel
I know.
cart
I
with
should have
you.
my travel lipo. You know,
Get your mobile.
lipo on the go.
Lipo on the go. Hey, there you got something.
Wouldn't that be something?
It would be cool. You know, the reason why you can't do that
No,
stuff
I
is
know,
because all the
cleanliness,
it's the
yeah.
regulations and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be. I thought it'd be cool to have a truck that we could, mobile like
Yeah.
drive around and, if we
It's
also
so
had this
fast,
idea,
yeah.
It's a thought.
if you do it in a plane, regulations are
Oh yeah.
a moot point.
Well, as much as you're moving and shaking in that damn jet,
I know,
I'm
but I was
like, where's Trevor today? Where is he? Does he have the kids?
right?
Is he solo? Is Corinne with him? Where is he at?
It's a good story, right?
It's
Yeah.
a great story.
Yeah.
See, you're like my mentor. I'm like, I want to get on a jet one day and go here, there, everywhere.
It's fun. It really is. The kids love it.
I bet
Yeah.
they do.
Yeah.
Do you own your own jet?
No.
Oh,
we
just
One of
charter.
those
charter.
Yeah.
But that's the way to go.
Yeah.
In fact, somebody asked me about that the other day, and I was supposed to ask you something about it, but I'll remember. So.
Yeah.
All right, we got
All
to
right.
run.
Well, it's gonna take a plastic surgeon to get this smile off my face.
All right,
Thank
I
you, Trevor.
know you guys have to go, so I'm gonna keep answering questions. So don't you guys go anywhere. I
Yep.
appreciate you guys.
All right.
Again, guys, if you want this body, just like that kitty, show them your body.
Well, I got my thing on, so I
But
don't
still,
look
I
sexy
mean, look
right
at
now.
that.
But I'll send pics.
All right.
She will.
Thank you guys.
Bye.
I'll
seeing
send
you.
pics.
All
Thanks,
right,
Trevor.
you're
Nice
welcome.
meeting you.
Enjoy.
I will.
Any questions?
Oh,
just
I'm
give me a
all
call,
wet.
okay?
I'm wet.
All right. Let me scoot up here a little bit closer.
I'm a little-
All right. I have
Okay,
missed
where's
some
the
of the
keys?
questions,
Oh, my pads.
so if you guys have some
My pads.
questions here.
And if they have any questions, we can answer them later, Trey.
Yeah, so Tina said she'll be on Facebook answering
I'll
questions
be over
later.
here
So
for a week, too.
let's see. Deshaun Banks, I was hyped for my procedure. Now I'm scared. Why would you be scared? We just had a 60-something-year-old lady that got a 360 lipo. Okay. Heidi Rios, can't wait to get lipo. She got her deposit paid. That's awesome. 3 more weeks for Alondra Gonzalez. Sweet. There's a question on the cost for 360 lipo. So 360 lipo is technically, it's just liposuction all the way around the waistline. Now each individual is going to be a little bit different. Some individuals are larger than others, which means that like their abdomen's extended and longer. So we have, there's more areas included. So to figure out the exact price for you, we would just need to do a consultation and check it out and quote you based on your body and what you're looking to achieve. So real quick, those of you that are on right now on Facebook in particular, if you can hit the share button so we can get some more people on here. And if you guys have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them right now. Hope you guys appreciated having Tina here. We've been trying to get her back on. So Tina, as many of you may know, we had a referral program where if you refer us 3 paying customers, we'll give you a free procedure that's equal to the average of those 3 customers. So for example, let's just use round numbers. Let's say you referred 3 people that spent $5,000. You would be eligible for a procedure for $5,000 credit towards your procedure. So the average of those 3 people. All right. So any questions? Looking on Facebook, Instagram. You guys see anything?
I'm going on YouTube right now.
Okay. Okay, there's a question here. Can I have lipo if I was recently diagnosed with ulcers? Yes, ulcers, GERD, are not really a problem for liposuction. Liposuction is the removal of fat, so none of that is in the same layer. Kesh Call asks, what is the max BMI? I don't even know how to calculate BMI. So I don't really care what your BMI is. So liposuction is a removal of fat. So if you're larger, you have more fat to remove. That's better for me. It's just you just may need to treat more areas to achieve the results that you're looking for. So, but we can, we get lots and I mean, the bulk of my patients are very overweight and have hanging pannus. So I've become an expert at removing that stuff and getting rid of that hanging belly. I've also gotten very good at, I guess, creating these butts and sculpting out butts by treating the lower back and doing the 360 liposuction. Let's see. Yeah, GERDs and ulcers are not a problem, so it's not an issue with whatever you treat. Um, and for anyone else that has any medical concerns or questions regarding whether you would qualify to get liposuction, if it's anything that like, so I do liposuction, you know, gastrointestinal, that's not my specialty, nor is cardiology or, you know, any of these other specialties. So anything that, if you have a medical issue, I'm just going to send you for medical clearance from your treating physician. So whoever treats you and knows your situation better than I do, they're going to evaluate your situation and make sure that you are a good candidate for any procedure. And this is standard in the medical industry that you would get medical clearance. And it's basically just state, and they basically do whatever tests are necessary to ensure that you are capable, your body is capable of handling any procedures, whether it's liposuction or any other surgeries.
It's a general question, but people have been asking, how much is the deposit for the contest?
Okay, so the deposit, so let me, the question was how much is the deposit for the contest? So the contest that we're doing right now, it's for individuals that are looking to move forward with liposuction, and we're going to offer at the end of this quarter, so I believe it's the July 1st, we'll be announcing the winner will win 3 areas of liposuction, but the catch is that you have to place your deposit. So that means that you can get your procedure. If you get your procedure and you end up being the winner, we'll just reimburse you back the money. So we're trying to encourage people to take that step forward, to get off the bench and start moving and make a difference in your life. So if you're looking to get liposuction, you know, you're willing to pay for it, you're willing to move forward, and you're going to get a good chance of you know, getting some money back. So you know, this is a good opportunity because the only people that are eligible are the people who place their deposit and eventually get their procedure. So the deposit is going to be, it's 25% of your procedure costs. So the question then becomes, what is your procedure costs? And that's going to depend on obviously what you want. And in order to figure that out, the first step is getting your consultation. So we offer free consultations. Those of you that are coming from out of state, as you saw with Aunt Penny earlier, she just flew in from Seattle area, and about 70% of our patients actually fly in from out of state to get their procedures at MyShape Lipo. So if you're watching this from out of state, you know, don't worry about that. That's normal. A lot of our patients are coming from areas that are underserved with liposuction specialists. So a specialist, someone like me that only does liposuction, there's not that many in the entire country. I think that there's maybe 5 or 6 different places in the entire country that specialize specifically in liposuction. So alternatively, people go to plastic surgeons. Plastic surgeons, you know, I don't like talking bad about them. However, they don't specialize only in liposuction. So liposuction is just one procedure of many procedures that they do. So the problem with that is that they just don't get enough practice to become excellent, to become superb, to become the best in the country. That's just, it's not possible just on sheer numbers. So there's no way, it's not even possible that any of these plastic surgeons that are doing like 2 or 3 procedures a month could compete with me when I'm doing 2 or 3 procedures a day. I mean, it's just simple practice. I mean, it's just like shooting free throws. If I shot 2 free throws a month, I'm going to suck at shooting free throws. But if I shoot, you know, 100, 200, 1,000 a day, I'm going to get, you know, it's the repetition. So it's the same thing with liposuction. To get really good at this, you have to get repetition. You have to do it many times. Heidi Rios coming from Arizona. That's awesome. That's just a hop, skip, and a jump away. Can we get our fat put in our breasts? Asks Sarah Rivas on Facebook. Yes, absolutely. It's called fat transfer. So fat transfer is where you take the fat out of one area and you can transfer to another area. Typically, we're doing to the breast and to the butt, but technically you can transfer fat to anywhere on the body. So this would come into play with individuals that have like indentations on areas, and sometimes this comes from trauma. Sometimes there's scars that people would inject fat. We can also inject fat into the face. It's used as a filler. It's an anti-aging type thing. Let's see, do you... Okay, so here's another question about the contest. Do you have to have the deposit paid and the surgery done by the 1st of July to qualify for the promotion? So to enter the contest, all we're requiring is the deposit being placed. So if you haven't had your procedure or you decide you want to push it out a little bit further, you can do that. I believe our standard policies are you have to have it within 3 months of placing your deposit. But with that said, I mean, the truth is like if you place your deposit and just leave your deposit and never get your procedure, that sucks for you. So I mean, you want to get this procedure done quickly usually. But for the purpose of the contest, to qualify for the contest for the July announcement, you don't necessarily have to have your procedure yet. So if you say you place your deposit like, the week before July, and we announce the contest and you end up being the winner, great, we'll just credit towards your procedure. So you don't necessarily have to have the procedure. Okay, so you've placed, someone says, see, Beauty 89, have placed the deposit, do we get our money back? I'm not sure I understand the question. If you place your deposit, it's showing your intent to get the procedure. So we wouldn't necessarily be giving your money back. I mean, the whole purpose of the deposit is for you to hold your spot for the procedure. So, and if you're asking if just because you don't win the contest, are we going to give you your money back? It doesn't work that way. The purpose of the incentive here is to get you to place your deposit, then have the procedure, not to place your deposit just to hopefully win the contest. That's not our purpose here. So we will not entertain people, and I won't be happy if you're trying to place your deposit and then you don't win and then you want your money back. That's not cool. Let's see, we have someone coming from Minnesota. That's awesome. So what I've found, which was really interesting, is that we do get, about 70% of our patients are coming from out of state, and I know a lot of the local plastic surgeons that I'm friends with here. They're like, they don't know how I do this and how, why people are coming to me from all around the world, for that matter. But what I've found is that, as it turns out, that individuals that live out of state, a lot of these individuals are in smaller towns where they may have a plastic surgeon there, but because when you're in a small town, it's not possible to have a higher volume and get the repetition that I'm talking about. So a lot of these local plastic surgeons just simply don't have the experience to do and get quality, consistent results with liposuction. So a lot of the individuals that live in these small towns, they end up having to travel anyways. And maybe it's like, maybe you live in a small town in Minnesota and you're going to, Minneapolis or something, but either way, you're going to have to travel. So what I've found is a lot of individuals, if you're going to travel anyways, you might as well just hop on a plane and go to the expert, right? So this is all I do. All I do is liposuction. So, and I'm doing it, right now I'm only doing it 2 days a week. So I've kind of slowed down a little bit because I don't really have to work that hard anymore. But in the past, I used to do this 5 days a week, and I was doing, I was doing a lot of liposuction, 20 to 30 procedures a week, which was amazing. So, I've gotten tons and tons of experience in a short period of time, and I know everybody says, "Oh, but you're too young. You look too young to have that much experience." Well, I do, and I've been doing this for about 13 years now. I got started in Beverly Hills doing liposuction, and I was, I helped grow one of the largest liposuction clinics in the world at that time. And in doing so, I got just an unbelievable amount of experience in a short period of time. And until, now I started my own business and I'm doing this myself, and it's liberating, and it's fun to be able to make a difference in people. Let's see, Margie Williams, can you take the fat out of the breast? Absolutely. So here's the cool thing. Liposuction, you can take it out from anywhere and you can put it back in anywhere. it doesn't matter to me. It's really the process is the same anywhere you do it. So, you know, I had a lady today that we did the buffalo hump. So the fat on the back of your neck here, where it kind of makes it look like you're hunched over. If you have that, you know what I'm talking about. We call it the buffalo hump. It's terrible. People that have it, they hate it, and it's really easy to get rid of. So we can take fat from anywhere, and if you want, we can inject fat anywhere, which means that like for the shape of the butt, some girls like to have a wider, rounder butt, so we can create more of a shape to the butt. Fat transfer to the butt, or the Brazilian butt lift, as many people call it. It's a matter of shaping by taking away, so taking away fat in the lower back and the waistline and creating that hourglass figure. And then as well as adding volume to the butt. So taking away the stuff that shouldn't be there and adding volume to where the fat should be there. That's the key. Let's see. Let's see. Alondra Gonzalez. That's why I'm coming to you, because that's all you do. Thank you. I really, you can't keep, I can't emphasize that enough, that the importance of really focusing on one thing. You know, these other doctors, the irony of this is that most of medicine right now is getting very isolated, and so you'll have specialists like even within orthopedic surgery, that does bones, you're going to have a specialist. Like you're going to have a hand specialist, you're going to have a shoulder specialist, you're going to have knee specialist, you're going to have hip specialist. So you're going to have people that specialize specifically in one area, and the reason for that is because when you get more practice, you get better. It's just, I know it sounds it sounds pretty obvious, but when you focus on one thing, you get better at it, and so when you get better at it, that's what people want. People don't come to average; they come to the greats. They come to the best. They come to the pros. They come to the best of the best. And so that's why I focus on what I do. And my goal is to be the best of the best. Like there is no competition, because I feel like I'm the best. There's no one out there, I promise you, there's no one out there that has more experience as me. And I mean, call me cocky, but I don't think anybody can do as good a job as I can. And when I've had family members that have considered getting procedures, and they ask me, like it's weird maybe working on your family, seeing your family naked, that's weird, but in my mind, I'm like, I couldn't in my right mind allow my family member to go to anyone else, because I know I'm the best. And if I allowed them to go somewhere else and they didn't get the results that they were looking for, I would hold that over myself, and that would be my fault. So on the other hand, if I make the mistake, it's me, so I guess I just like control. I like to be able to control that, and I like that my family members, if they're going to get these procedures, they might as well go with me. I feel like I'm the best at this, and I can get them the best possible results. So that's why I do what I do. All right. Oh, thanks, Heidi. Heidi confirms I'm the best. Let's see. I have rods in my back. Can I get it done? Mrs. Lopez. Absolutely. Okay, so when you say rods in your back, I'm guessing that you had spine surgery. You probably had a fusion, and they put rods. They usually put rods, like vertical rods, that go along the spine. Interestingly enough, I actually when I first got out of school, I used to do orthopedic surgery, and the first guy that I worked for, I was doing spine surgery, so I've actually have a lot of experience in this. And I can speak from firsthand that the liposuction that I do is in a different layer than these rods, so it shouldn't have any bearing on what we do. Shouldn't have any problem. Even if we're treating just above that area, it shouldn't be a problem, because the fat layer is just different. It's a different layer. That our body has an amazing ability to encapsulate parts of our bodies, so it separates things off. And creates like a tissue surrounding these areas, so that there's a tissue that separates the muscles from the fat layer. So they call it a fascia. And so that when we inject the fluid in there, the fluid will stay isolated in the fat layer, doesn't infiltrate into the muscle layer. So because of that, it helps keep it isolated, and it reduces the risk from damaging any other parts of the body. So long answer, but the answer is yes. If you have rods in your back, you can get liposuction.
YouTube says, hey Trevor, I've got a question. If a patient does a fat transfer to their breasts, do they still sag, or it depends on the person?
Okay, so the question was, if they do fat transfers to the breast, will the breast still sag?
Yes.
Okay, so it's obviously going to depend on the individual, the shape of the breast, the elasticity of the breast. Typically with the fat transfer, think of the breast like a water balloon. And when we are adding volume, it's simply it's just expanding the water balloon. So if your breasts have an abnormal shape, or a shape that you don't like, getting fat transfer will typically just make that shape larger. On the flip side, if you have a great shape already and you like the shape of your breasts, adding volume will just make those just make what you have bigger. It's a bigger version of what you already have. So will it sag? It just depends. If you have poor skin elasticity already, then it's probably going to continue to sag to some degree. When you add more volume, that volume is weight. Weight will eventually, with gravity, will continue to pull down. Now, with that said, when when we fill the volume up, we're able to fill the volume up on the upper portion of the breast here. So typically with age, everything droops down, and so you get this like sloping, and I know you girls know what I'm talking about. So to get this like sloping out of the breast, I'll turn sideways so you can see it slopes. So you get less volume up on the upper portion here, than it slopes out. So a lot of times we want to fill this volume up on the top part of the breast here, so it'll appear that the breasts are sitting up higher. Now, all we're doing is just filling up the volume here. We can also fill up the volume into the cleavage as well. Now, once we get more volume in there, and you get your bras on, and you get that push up, you got a lot more to work with. So it just gives you that volume to do the things that you want to do. And there's other ancillary type things and bras and stuff that you can make it look better. Let's see. Diana, you said you're thinking about getting this done. What's the soonest you can get me in? I don't do the scheduling anymore, so you got to call our office. But the first step is getting your free consultation, so they can tell you what the areas are that we'd recommend. And then we can get you in fairly quickly. Like I said, I do a lot of these procedures, and I work very quickly, so it's hard for me to get a backlog of patients, because whenever we get really busy, I just run through them really quick. I'll just open up days, and so this is kind of a customer service thing for me. I hate waiting. I personally don't like waiting, so I try to push that onto you guys as well, that I assume that you don't like to wait. And I don't want to be I will never be one of those places where I'm booked out for 6 to 8 months. It won't happen. I'll hire more people. We'll knock this stuff out. I know people want to get in quickly, so we try to accommodate as quick as possible. I'm the only one that does the procedures here, Leslie. I've hired other people in the past, but that didn't work out. Let's see, there's a question on the C-section scars. Is it possible to do lipo from the same scar as the C-section? So, I mean, theoretically it's possible. I don't put my incision points on the C-section scar, as typically not an optimal positioning for me. But our entry points, the scars that we create are tiny. They're 2 millimeters. I can't remember the last time I had a complaint about scars, so I wouldn't be too concerned about that. But also, it is possible, if you've had a C-section, to get liposuction. And in fact, a lot of these women that have had C-sections, their belly folds over at the C-section scar. And in many cases, I'm able to make that completely flat after the procedure, so it's a good thing. Let's see. Man, someone wrote a Genesis. I'm trying to read your book here. Sorry, I'm trying to read.
Mr. Rainy Waters is just saying that she's going to get on a plane and travel to Vegas because, quote, his work is amazing. I don't mind going wherever quality is.
Mhm.
That's from Rainy Waters.
So was that just a statement or was there a
Yeah,
question?
just,
Okay. Yeah,
thumbs up.
I appreciate that. So someone said that they don't mind traveling for quality, and you know, it really it makes sense. You know, look, this is a big. It's not a big procedure. It's as you saw with Penny. You know, she literally just had the procedure. You know, a half hour ago, and she's up smiling. She's 65 or something like that. So it's not you know, terribly invasive procedure. You're not going to be down for, you know, extended periods of time, and it's not that terribly difficult. But for practitioners or doctors or plastic surgeons or whoever like do these procedures, if you're not getting the practice to be great, then it's really an injustice to to the customer. And you know, what I've found is that, you know, people will talk about the wow. They talk about the wow factor. You know, the things that like when you come to a business and you're just like, when you leave and you're like, wow, that was amazing. You go back and tell your friends about that, right? But when you go have an experience with a business and it's like it's okay, or it's just satisfactory, like they did what they were supposed to do, that's great. Like, you don't talk about that because it's just okay. You talk about the wow. So I try to get amazing results because I want you to talk about it. I want you to be like at your family picnic and be like, "Holy shit, you got to see my body," you know, like, and have girls like showing their boobs, just, you know, like that's what's exciting. And you know, when you do amazing things and you get dramatic, huge results, that's what people talk about. And you know, when a lot of these other doctors that do these procedures, the funny thing is like I've spoken with a lot of them. I go to conferences and stuff, and you know, the ones that don't do a high volume, it's crazy their thought process. Their thought process is actually, I'm going to take out less fat because I don't want to screw up, and with the intent that I can always go back in again. And that's like the most backwards, crazy thought process I've ever had. Like, my thought process is like, I'm gonna get as much fat out as possible. I'm gonna make it smooth and even as the best results possible, so you never, ever have to get liposuction again on that area ever. That's my goal. And you know, that saves you money in the long run. Because if you go to someone that with their thought processes that I'm gonna leave some fat in there because I don't want to screw it up, and I can always go back in a second time, like, that sucks for you as a consumer. That's terrible. Who the hell would want that? Like, I can get it done the first time, do a great job the first time, get you the results that you want the first time, so you never have to get it done again. So what does that do for me, right? So I don't get repeat customers coming back and treating the same areas, but what I do get is that the same people come back and they treat all the rest of their body because they love the results. They're happy with me. They're happy with our staff. They're happy with the price. Not only that, they tell their friends, they tell their family, and we get referrals from that. So it's like it's in my best interest to get you the best results. I think of it as you're a walking billboard for me. And my walking billboards, they better look beautiful. And that's my goal. I want everybody to look amazing because you are the best advertising. Let's see. You see any other questions there?
Yeah, generally there's several questions about, give us more information about the 360.
Okay. So the 360 lipo, my favorite procedure. Okay, so 360 lipo is technically, it's just liposuction all the way around the waistline. So with the 360, we're trying to create that hourglass figure. And so these are individuals that, I mean, typically your belly's pooching out, your sides are pooching out, so you got this like muffin top. You typically will have some lower back fat. The problem with the lower back fat is when normally we have this arch through our back, but as you fill in with fat, that, you know, that arch, it starts to bulge out, and then as it bulges out, it makes it look like your butt's flat, and so that sucks. Nobody wants that. That doesn't belong there. The fat shouldn't be there. So it's really easy to remove. The 360 lipo gets everything from on the front of the belly, so everything below the chest, all the way down to your natural endpoint, typically where the fold is, all the way around the sides. And typically I'm gonna go down lower on the waistline, so we want to do love handles in the hips. So I go low down, and so that creates that elongated waistline. So a lot of people, they have their waistline starts up here. I want to lower it down a lot lower, so below the pelvis there. So we want to start the waist down low, and you get those nice elongated curves. And I mean, that's, to me, that's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm trying to create. If you have any fat in the lower back is the key to creating the best looking butt. When we take the fat out of there, it creates that arch to the back and creates a definition to the butt. I can literally create that shape, that heart shape to the butt, it's super cool. All the girls love it, as you can see. If you were on earlier with Tina and Penny, it's the coolest thing. And most of these women that have lower back fat, they believe that they have no butt, and you're wrong. I'm just here to tell you that you're wrong, and I can give you. It's not that I'm giving you a butt. I'm just taking away the stuff that shouldn't be there. And when you take away the stuff that shouldn't be there, your butt's there, and it's like magic. It's the coolest thing ever. Let's see, Stacy Schultz. She had a tummy tuck and lipo in the love handles and had to go back for another procedure because the doc didn't take out enough. And still, after 2 lipos, I still have love handles. Wish I knew about you 2 years ago. And see, that was Stacy Schultz. So Stacy had a tummy tuck, and supposedly they do liposuction during tummy tuck. And I'm going to tell you that whenever they do that, it's typically just a ploy to get more money out of you, because if you think about it, when you are making a large incision, so when you do a tummy tuck, they're making a large incision from hip to hip, all the way across there. The most important thing after a tummy tuck is that wound healing. If it doesn't heal, it's a complete nightmare. So nobody wants those problems. Nobody wants those problems. So if you do liposuction breaks the small blood vessels. It's inherent. It's just what happens. Okay, it's not a bad thing. It just is what it is. But if you do too much liposuction, it degrades the blood supply. That wound won't heal. So that's why, and it makes sense now if you're thinking about it, that's why the plastic surgeons don't do very much liposuction. They do a little bit just to take enough out, just to charge you for it, but they don't take out enough. So because of that, I can't tell you, I've probably done 1,500 people that have had tummy tucks over the years and come back for liposuction because they just didn't get enough fat sucked out. So it's a shame because they're getting, now they have 2 procedures. They have to get a tummy tuck and supposedly liposuction, but now you have to come back later to get the fat sucked out again. And then if you're unlucky like Stacy and you go to someone else that is one of those people that has that mindset of I'm just not going to take out that much fat because I don't want to screw it up. Like if you're doing procedures and your main thought process is I just don't want to screw things up, like you got to reevaluate. Like you have to focus more and do better, because that's not good enough for the patients. It's not good enough. You can't think that way. My thought process is not that I don't want to screw up. My thought process is I want to get you the best damn results ever. Like I want you to go on TV and tell people like, this is amazing. Trevor's the best in the world. That's what I want. I want to be known as the best of the best of the best. I don't want anyone. I don't want there to be any doubt that I'm the best. That's how good I want to be. And so because of that, I work hard every single day, and despite doing this for I think like 13, 14 years now, I've done like 20,000 procedures, like ridiculous number of procedures. Despite that, I still am focused every single procedure looking for ways to improve and get better. And because every patient is different, there's little different qualities and details. So in doing this so many times, I'm now able to focus more on the smaller details to get, exceedingly amazing results. And that's what the cool thing is like when these doctors that don't do very much liposuction, their focus is like they're not really sure what to do. So they're trying to figure stuff out as they go. But and the truth is that's with any surgery. So I'm not trying to talk badly about these people. It just is what it is. It's a matter of experience. And if you don't have the experience, this is what you're going to be focused on. You're going to be focused on just remembering what's next, remembering the process. Okay, what am I going to do now? Okay, I have an issue. What am I going to do? I've done this so many times that I don't have to think about those things now. Every issue that I've had the same issues thousands of times. I've had the same problems. I've had, I've seen the same things thousands and thousands of times. So when I'm encountered with them now, I don't have to think, what do I need to do? I've already done it thousands of times. So it's just do. And so my thought process doesn't have to be on what should I do next. My thought process is like the fine details. How can I make this better? How can I make this perfect? How can I make this the best damn results ever? And how can I make it so this person tells everybody on the planet? That's what my focus is on. And so, when I'm talking now, I hope that you guys, understand the importance of the sheer volume of what I've done, and can appreciate that, because you can go talk to plastic surgeons. Plastic surgeons, and I'll just tell you, they all have the same. They all read from the same script, and it's like the same script that the National Organization for Plastic Surgeons, they wrote and they advertise. They spend tens of millions of dollars every year advertising this, and it's this belief that you have to go to a board certified plastic surgeon. And people don't realize that board certified just means you pass some stupid test. It's a retarded test. That's all it is. To get board certified is just a test. It doesn't mean you're good at anything. All it means that you have the knowledge of the book knowledge. And anybody can get book knowledge. That's easy. You just read. But to get the actual experience, to get the eye-hand coordination, to get the feel, to get the touch, to get the knowledge of how to get these great results, that takes experience. That takes hard work. That takes years and years of making mistakes on people. And it's the practice. It's practice of medicine. So, but you have to do it thousands and thousands of times. Let's see. How many people do the procedure there other than you? I'm the only one that does a procedure at My Shape Lipo. I want a mommy makeover. You seem so passionate about your work. Oh, thanks. So let's just clarify mommy makeover, because I think that's a term that's been going around and people don't necessarily understand or know what it is or what it means. So mommy makeover, simply put, is any cosmetic procedure after you've had your babies. So mommy makeover for one individual is going to be different for another individual, and it's going to be dependent on what your problems are. So when you have pregnancy, when you have kids, you're going to have different issues depending on your body and your genetics. So some of you might have issues with stretch marks. Some of you might have issues with deflated breasts. Some of you might have, your breast got large and never went smaller. I've seen that plenty of times. So we can reduce the size of the breast. If you've lost the volume, particularly that upper pole of the breast here, we can add volume through fat transfer. If you've got residual fat around the waistline, lower back, any of that stuff, we can take that fat out. If you gain weight on the thighs and want to get rid of that. So mommy makeover kind of encompasses a whole host of different procedures. It's really anything new, and it just depends on what you need. So, the term mommy makeover is just the fact that you're getting procedures after you've had a baby. So now there are typical things that people get, but it's not like one thing that we do for all women that have had babies. It just doesn't work that way. Some people might want fat transfer to the breast. Some might want it to the butt. Some people might just want liposuction. You may have loose skin because of the pregnancy, so you might require smart lipo for the skin tightening. So all these are different, things and, tools that we use to get you the results that you're looking for. Heidi Rios, getting 6 areas. Woohoo! Okay, Bethany, how long is the downtime for the 360 lipo? It's different for everybody. Bethany, if you were on earlier, if not, Penny was on earlier. She literally just had 360 lipo. Did she say she's 65? I don't want to keep saying 65 and she's younger. I feel bad.
Yes,
She's 65. Okay. So, so Penny was 65 years old, and she literally just like 30 minutes ago just had liposuction, and she was like perma smile, walking around, and she's up and at 'em. So recovery for her will probably be less than someone else. So I keep statistics on this. Statistics show that on average individuals are, report getting back to work, like a sedentary type work, within 3 days, and that's about 87% of people. Now, with that said, that's 13% of people that don't get back within 3 days, and the question is like, how quickly do those people get back? Well, some of them are going to take, a week. Some of them are going to take 2 weeks. Everyone's different, but you probably already know, for you in particular, are you the type of person that when you get sick, you stay in bed for a week, or do you you push through and just you can do things on your own. You're very independent. The people that tend to do well normally with everything, they tend to do well with this. The people that struggle with everything in life, they tend to struggle with this. I mean, it's pretty. It's pretty cut and dry, as far as that standpoint. But the downtime, Bethany, it depends on what you're getting back to. You can obviously do like sedentary type stuff. You're walking around immediately after the procedure. So technically, we have people that go back to work the same day or the next day for that matter. I don't know whether you'll be able to do that. It just depends on what you do for work and your tolerance of whatever discomfort that you have. But we have great stories of where people are able to get back to their life very, very, very quickly. And yes, you can have fat removed from the inner thigh. I can remove fat from pretty much anywhere in your body. So if you have a problem, I mean, we have names for most of these areas, but if you have fat on an area that we don't have a name for, just ask us. We had some lady earlier that she wanted fat taken away from over the upper portion of her back, like in the middle, like back here, which most people don't have fat over the spine. However, she did. It was weird. It is what it is. And as I said, the beautiful thing about our body is that it encapsulates the fat layer. So just because it's over the spine doesn't mean that we can't go there. So if you have fat, just like in the lower back, you have fat over the spine. As long as you have a fat pocket there, we can take it out, and it's encapsulated. So there's no worry about doing anything and hitting the spine or paralysis or any of that crap. The nerves are much deeper, and the only part of your spine that you can feel, that little nub on the back there, it's called the spinous process. That's actually there for protection. And if you have seen a skeleton, those spines are in many cases they're like 2 inches long, 2.5 inches long, maybe even longer, depending on the individual. But it's a very good protectant. But the nerves are way down deep, so it's not much of a concern. So if you have anywhere you have fat, let's suck it off. I heard Kim Kardashian got liposuction on her toes to fit into some shoes. So that's it can be done. Again, I am the only one at My Shape Lipo that does liposuction. The only one. So there, I'd hired some people in the past that didn't work out. Apparently, it's much more difficult to train people at doing this than I imagined. So I know that there was some like negative reviews out there about those individuals. So that's no longer an issue. So you don't have to be concerned about that. So we got about a minute left on Instagram, and I think I'm gonna call it quits after that. I'm getting kind of tired. So I've been doing this on a weekly basis now. So if you guys, and the recorded lives are on Facebook. So if you had questions or concerns, you can always go back and watch those on Facebook. We're on YouTube, and we have all the frequently asked questions on YouTube. So you'll see me answering most of those questions. Let's see what else. The contest that we're doing right now, we currently have this contest where we're giving away 3 free areas of liposuction. And the intent here is to get those individuals that are sitting on the sideline, that are ready to get liposuction, want to get liposuction, have the money to pay for liposuction. So in order to enter the contest, you have to place your deposit. It's a 25% deposit. And we will be announcing the winner early July. And if you've had your procedure already and you win, we'll just reimburse you. So get your free consultation. That's the next step. All right, and we're done on Instagram. All right. Couple more quick questions. Are you looking on YouTube? I haven't really been. How much fat do you take out from the abdomen area? On that note.
You see, YouTube is pretty much you're coming on a plane. How much fat in your thigh, the abdomen. Oh, just tell us the telephone number.
Okay, the telephone number, it's, so, I mean, okay, if you haven't been to our website, it's myshapelipo.com, and our phone number is 702-818-5476, and if you didn't get that, go to our website, myshapelipo.com. If you didn't get that, search liposuction, you'll find me. Samia, yes, we do laser lipo. The laser that we use, the brand name is Smart Lipo. So when you see that terminology, Smart Lipo is the laser. It's used for skin tightening. Studies have shown that you can get up to 57% more skin tightening when you use a laser versus liposuction alone. So those individuals that are concerned about looseness of the skin, the Smart Lipo laser is what's going to help with that. Okay. Hey Heidi, I really appreciate you making all these comments. I really do. I appreciate the involvement. It's nice. And I appreciate you. I see you're answering questions for other people. That's pretty cool too. Yeah, Bethany, the best way to contact to get a consultation. You're on Facebook right now, so we have a link in our Facebook thing, right? So, and we usually on a lot of our posts we'll post a link where you can click on those. You can see there where it says sign up for the consultation. We've got a pretty cool setup right now where you can actually schedule your own consultation time. You can get on our calendar, so it's pretty cool. You pick a time on the calendar, and especially those for out of state, you can schedule the time and we'll call you back, and all you have to do is send in pictures. And Samia, the cost for the 360, it just kind of depends. I don't know you in particular, so I never like to give out any quotes and general type things, because if I'm wrong, I don't want you telling me that. But you told me when you were live. So get your consultation, and we'll give you a quote based off of your body and what you need to get you the best results. And look, when we give you quotes on things, when we give you recommendations, you just have to realize that these are recommendations. You are the one that makes the choices. So we leave this up to you. And if you choose, like for example, we may recommend treating 5 or 6 areas, and it might be like, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000. Those are our recommendations for the best results based off of what you were asking for. Now, if you say, well, like, I don't have the budget for that, I don't have that much money, you can always do less. So, but you just have to realize that when you do less, it's just not the best results. For example, you may choose just to treat the front of the belly here, which is good. A lot of people say, well, that's my problem area. And that might be the case, and we can get a lot of the fat off of that area, and maybe that fold goes away. But if you still have that muffin top on the side, that's obviously not the best results. So, to get the best results, you have to treat all the areas to get the best results. Now, some people can afford it, some people can't. If you can't, those individuals, they'll tend to break things up. So they'll do like instead of doing the 360 all in one procedure, they'll do the front of the abdomen and get that out of the way, and then come back maybe after like 6 months or a year or 2 years or whatever the case takes them to save up the money, and then they come back for the sides and the lower back to complete the procedure. Now, in my opinion, the best results are doing it all at the same time. And the reasoning behind that is that when we stop, this is going to create scar tissue. So when we come back and try to break through that scar tissue, the results are, I'll just say, less than optimal. It's going to be a little bit different for everybody, and how good I'm going to be able to do with that, but it's less than optimal in my opinion. So I would recommend doing everything all at once, but if you can't do it, you can't do it, and I'm open to whatever. Like I think anything is possible. So if you ask me to do it, I'm going to figure out a way to do it. All right, Giselle, consultation tomorrow. That's awesome. Ashley, Where can I do my consultation? If you're coming from out of state, we can do your consultation over the phone. That's not an issue. Just got to sign up. Is there any drainage tubes? That's Flores Rojas. So drainage tubes are a plastic surgeon's thing. I don't do that. They're not necessary. The holes that we use to access the fat layer, they're left open, and the holes are so tiny. And I create them with a biopsy punch, and it's a 2 millimeter biopsy punch, if any of you guys know what that is. And it makes a circular hole. So it's like about the size of the tip of a pen. And through that tiny little hole, my instruments can squeeze through there and get the fat out. Now, because it's so small, we don't even need to use stitches. So we don't close these wounds. And the good thing is because we don't close the wounds, it allows for that drainage to continue to drain out for the first couple days and get all that fluid out of there. So the purpose of using drain tubes is to literally suck that fluid out of there. But the problem is that a lot of times those drains get clogged, but also you got this thing hanging on outside of your body and it's attached with sutures. So if you get it caught on something, it'll get ripped out. So nobody wants to deal with that crap. So no drain tubes. You don't have to worry about that. We try to keep this as simple and easy as possible. The holes are left open on purpose. They usually you'll drain for about 2, 3, maybe 4 days after the procedure. Then those holes tend to scab over and will heal on their own. There's very little that you need to do. The important things after the procedure are just keeping as much compression on the area as possible. The more compression you have, the less swelling you'll get. You guys see any other questions?
How long after you have a baby?
I just saw that. How long after you have a baby do you recommend having a mommy makeover? So the general recommendations, the standardized recommendations is 6 months after having a baby. With that said, I've done them in a shorter period of time, but what I've found, and this is my guess as to what's happened and why these recommendations are such. After pregnancy, your body has a lot of hormones surging through, and those hormones cause the tissue to take on different, what's the word I'm looking for? Characteristics. So women that were pregnant and come to get liposuction, I've found that their tissue, their fat, this doesn't come out as easy for some reason. It's kind of, I call it like spongy or rubbery, and it's kind of weird. I can't really explain why it is what it is, but I have had some individuals that like didn't tell me that they had a baby, 2 or 3 months ago, and we did liposuction, and then afterwards when I'm struggling, I'm trying to ask some questions, like trying to figure out why I'm struggling. And that's I've had that answer a number of times, and I've done it a few times over the years with women before the 6-month period. So technically it's possible, anything's possible, right? So it is possible to do liposuction sooner to after you've had the baby, but the recommendations are 6 months, and my thought process of why that is just that the hormones regulate and stabilize and your body kind of goes back to its normal being. So I haven't done any studies on this, so I don't know for 100%, but this is my idea of why that is. So look, I'm open to doing pretty much anything. I believe that anything's possible. We just need to figure out how to do it. So if you guys have some ideas and things that you want to do or want done, or like you want to break some rules, I love breaking rules. So it has to make sense. So I'm a very logical thinker. If we can think this through and it makes sense, then we can do whatever you want to do.
On YouTube, they're asking, do you guys do BBL, Brazilian butt lift revisions?
Okay. So do we do Brazilian butt lift revisions? Okay, so let's go with the word revision. What does that mean? So revision is essentially if you had some procedure and we're revising, meaning we're doing it over again. So in this case, if you've had a Brazilian butt lift with someone else and they didn't get you the results that you're looking for? The short answer is yes. Technically, you can revise anything. I've had people that have gone elsewhere and come to me, and I'm like the third person doing liposuction on them. So it's possible. There are always issues and concerns when you're doing revisions. So I've done thousands of revisions over the years from patients to doctors that have that mindset of I don't want to take out that much fat. So I've done lots of procedures on people like this. So I have a ton of experience, lots of cool tricks, ways to get results, and those individuals that have had lipo from 1, 2, 3 other doctors and still don't get the results that they're looking for, I'm able to get a lot of fat out and get them much better results than what they have now. So yes, with the Brazilian butt lift. Now here's the other thing, the cool thing with Brazilian butt lift. Brazilian butt lift is a combination of liposuction and fat transfer. So we're taking the fat out of one area and sculpting and shaping, and then we are injecting fat back in there to get you that increased volume. So with the Brazilian butt lift, the fat transfer process can be done multiple times. Now, the thought process behind this is that when you inject the fat in the first time, there's only so much that your skin's going to expand out. So there's only so big you can go on one procedure. So I've done this a number of times where the plan is to actually stage it out and the plan to do multiple fat transfers to get the maximum size out of it. So we do the first procedure and then you want to wait about 2 months and then you can come back and do another procedure where we take fat from somewhere else and then we inject fat into the butt. That gets you a little bit bigger, and then we can come back maybe 2 months later and do it a third time to get exponentially bigger. So essentially what we're doing is as you stretch that skin out, the next time when you come back, we can inject it and stretch it out again. But at the time of the procedure, there's only so much that skin will stretch. And again, I go back to this water balloon analogy, like we're filling up a water balloon, it stretches out, but at some point, that balloon's gonna pop. And now your butt's not gonna pop, but what happens is the fat that I inject in, it just kind of, it just so much pressure, it oozes back out. Kind of gross. But but it is what it is. There's so much tension from the skin that it just won't hold any more fat. Now, with the fat transfer, the rules are that you're not supposed to put pressure on the area for, my recommendations are no pressure for 2 weeks and then limited pressure for 2 months. Now, when you try to overstuff a fat transfer, meaning, put too much fat and inject until it's like solid and the skin's like totally stretched and the fat's just oozing back out. When you put too much fat in there, the skin itself puts pressure on the fat. And the skin itself will collapse the blood vessels and make it so less blood supply gets in there to feed the fat. And if you have less blood supply to feed the fat, you're going to get less of a survival rate. So interestingly, there's studies showed that when you put too much fat in there, the actual compression from the skin itself reduced the amount of fat that survived. So those individuals that actually got less fat had a higher fat survival rate than those individuals that got the fat stuffed in there. So I know that there's some people that want the biggest butt possible, but sometimes you just have to take a staged approach. And if you want to get ultra large, then you want to do multiple procedures. So it can get more expensive, obviously, because we're doing multiple procedures, but it just depends on what you're looking for. So it is possible to revise. If you've had a procedure by someone else and didn't get the results that you're looking for, we can absolutely revise and do it again. Any other questions?
Is it better to lose some weight before getting lipo?
The question was, is it better to lose weight before getting lipo? I don't require that at all. I suck fat for a living, so if you have fat, don't lose it, because I want to suck it out. No, and I know there's a lot of other doctors that say that you have to lose weight, you have to be your ideal weight for liposuction. That's total hogwash bullshit. It's not true. I suck fat for a living, so if you have fat, I'll suck it out. You don't have to lose weight. You can lose weight, but it doesn't make any difference to me. I'm not going to charge you less, charge you more. It's going to make no difference at all. So don't, go on your diets. It's good. Lifestyle change is absolutely the best thing after liposuction, but you don't have to lose all the weight before. That it just doesn't make sense. It's never made sense to me. And again, I'll touch on, because this kind of relates to the BMI question. Um, I don't I don't calculate BMI. We don't ask for your BMI. There's none of our pricing has anything to do with your BMI. I don't care how heavy you are or how light you are. We're gonna give you quotes based off of what you need, and to give you the best results. Now you got to keep in mind those individuals, that the larger individuals, the oh, thank you, Alondra. Let me pin that up there. So Alondra, I just pinned our phone number if you guys wanted to call our office to get a consultation. But yeah, so getting losing weight before liposuction is not necessary. What's up, Ivory? Ivory just jumped on. So Ivory Blake just jumped on. She was one of our previous contest winners.
There's a question from YouTube. What happens if you have high blood?
If you have high blood pressure and you want to have procedures, so high blood pressure is it's not an issue unless it is. If your blood pressure is out of control, then that becomes an issue. But if you're taking blood pressure medication and it's under control, then it's not a problem for me. Where it can become a problem. Now, if your blood pressure is out of control, what it means is that the pressure within your blood vessels is higher. So when we damage blood vessels, like through liposuction, you're going to have a higher risk of bleeding. So if you have high blood pressure, there's going to be a lot of pressure. It's going to push the blood out anytime we break any of those little capillaries. So high blood pressure can become a problem if it's out of control. So if you believe it's an issue, then I'm just going to ask you to get cleared medically through your primary treating physician. Otherwise, if you come into our office and a lot of people have higher blood pressure because it's that white coat syndrome. When you come in, like you're nervous and you're anxious and your blood pressure goes up. I do have blood pressure medication I give you, and it's a pretty easy thing. It solves the problem pretty quickly. Okay, what if you smoke? So, I got a news announcement for you guys. Smoking causes cancer. So, and there's been so many studies that say that smoking is bad for you. One of the things, so here's the thing what smoking does. So the short answer is yes, you can have lipo, you can do anything if you smoke. You're gonna harm yourself. That's not really my fault, my issue. I'm gonna do my job. Smoking marijuana, I see that. Okay, so smoking marijuana is it's legal now, and you can do what you do. It's just like drinking alcohol. It's not recommended to drink alcohol before the procedure. Alcohol is technically a blood thinner, so I would avoid that. Smoking marijuana makes no difference to me. You can leave presents for me if you want. But smoking cigarettes does kill you. Believe it or not, there's still quite a few people that smoke, particularly here in Vegas. I don't know why that is. But smoking cigarettes, what it does on a molecular level or a cellular level, it constricts the blood vessels. When it constricts the blood vessels, you get higher blood pressure because of it. But the constricted blood vessels, it decreases your healing potential. So particularly those individuals that are getting like fat transfer, if you smoke cigarettes, you're wasting your time. The fat transfer is not going to be as good for you, because if you continue to smoke and your blood vessels continue to shrink because of the smoke, it decreases the nutrients and oxygen that get to the fat, and you get much less results. So I do have individuals that are smokers and get fat transfer, and I haven't had great results, but at the same time, these individuals, they claim they're going to stop smoking afterwards, but whether they do or not, that's who knows. All right. Yeah, marijuana's a great thing. I don't know why it was ever made illegal. Our government was restricting, marijuana was considered a class 1 drug, which was right along with like LSD and acid and heroin. And, because of that, they were not able to do any testing to test and see what the side effects were of marijuana. So no one was able to do any studies on it. So now obviously it's opened up, and we're finding that there's so many positive benefits to marijuana, which this is a great example of why medicine changes so dramatically, is because there's going to be these dumbass individuals that somewhere down the line, is they're super conservative people. They make rules on stuff that limit everybody, and when you limit everybody, it limits the potential for growth and expansion and figuring out how things work. So with marijuana, for example, just the fact that we weren't able to study it, like we don't have any great studies until the recent years when it's become legal. So medicine has continually changed because of regulators. When I was in school, some 20 years ago, almost every single drug that we were taught in school the recommendations have completely changed. So this, you got to realize, this is the practice of medicine. Like, we are all practicing, and nobody wants to hear that. Nobody wants to say, "Oh, you're practicing on me." But the truth is like, we are all practicing, all of us, and we're all trying to get better. When I give you a medication, I don't really know what it's going to do to you. I have what they've said in the labels and all that stuff, but the truth is that some people are going to respond differently to these medications. So I'm practicing. I'm trying to figure this stuff out, and it's an ongoing process. And I have a good idea of, based off of studies and previous results. But the longer you do this, the more you learn, the more your experiences, the better you get. And that's the thing that sucks is that probably the best doctors are like 80 years old because they've had all this experience. And at 80 years old, they're all old and they're slow and they're tired. They don't want to work anymore. So it sucks. So, I've been very fortunate to get a huge, like, unbelievable amount of experience in a short period of time. And it's just because I worked my ass off. And I work a lot harder than everybody else. And because of that, I have like 50 years of experience in a matter of 10 years or 12 years, however long I've been doing this. So I've got a lot of experience in a short period of time, which it gives me a leg up. Like, how many of you would say, I wish I would have known that when I was younger? Well, I know this stuff now. I know it, and I'm still young. I'm still strong. I'm still able to do this. I'm still able to get the great results that you're looking for. And that the only reason that is because I have the experience. So I kind of went off on a tangent there. I'm getting kind of tired. You guys see any other questions? That's right, Heidi. No sugarcoat. That's bullshit. I hate sugarcoating. It's the funny thing is that there's so many people that, like, when people like me that I'll tell you the way it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat stuff. But people like me, there's some people that I rub wrong, and some people love to have things sugar-coated, and like, it's gonna be okay. And I'm like, no, like, you got to do it. This is the way it is. This is for you. This is the way it is. It is what it is. Let's see. Someone asked about diabetes. Diabetes, you can absolutely have liposuction. I just did a patient today that had diabetes. It just needs to be controlled, just like any other disease process. As long as it's under control, we can manage it. So diabetes, I would just have you get cleared medically. What's up, Kevin? So you get cleared medically, and I'm going to ask you to do a hemoglobin A1C, and there's certain levels. I believe it's got to be below like a 7.8 or something like that, the hemoglobin A1C. So it's definitely possible. Just go see your doctor, whoever's treating you, make sure that everything's under control. They're going to run that test for me, and just make sure that it's all good. And then we'll just get a medical clearance letter from your treating physician. And again, our girls will walk you through this whole process, so you don't have to remember this. Just let us know what your medical history is, what your concerns are, and we will walk you through the process on how to get everything set up. Mimi, the recovery after the procedure, it varies for everyone, and it depends on what you're having treated. It depends on what you're getting back to. Typically, people are able to get back to work fairly quickly, like a sedentary type job. It's usually about 3 days. You're welcome, Emilda. Um, so they can get back to a sedentary type job within 3 days. And but though, if you don't tolerate things very well, it might be a little bit longer for you. So most people know for themselves. If you tolerate things well, most people are able to get up and walk out of here and feeling great. Giselle likes how straightforward I am. That's great. The funny thing is, what I found, I've been doing this for a long time. I tend to attract people that are like me. So those of you individuals that like my straightforward, like tell you the way it is, no sugarcoating, like that's the type of people that come see me. And ironically, the funny thing is, I really I like hip hop from the mid '90s. I went to high school in the mid '90s, like '95. Let's see, with '93 to '95. So I like all that hip hop during that time period. And the funny thing is that most of my patients, not all of them, but most of my patients tend to appreciate and like the same stuff. And ironically, I think they're right around the same age. So I'm 42 now. Yeah, 42. So typically the women and men for that matter that are coming in to get these procedures, they're right around that age, and they tend to like the same music. So it's kind of interesting how that works out. But the people that don't like my straightforwardness, they typically don't come because they don't want to hear me. Let's see. Bethany says, should you stay away from lipo if you take certain medications? Well, yes. I mean, there are some medications that are going to be issues, particularly blood thinners can become a problem. So if you take blood thinners, you can still have the procedure. There are certain protocols that we go through to do that. But yes, you can. If you have a concern, you have a question, just ask specifically when you schedule your procedure. Let's see. Let's see. So someone asks, can I have liposuction when my weight is 160 and they'd like a BBL? So Brazilian butt lift or fat transfer when you're a thinner individual. So it is possible, and 160 is not. I mean, it's thin. It's not super thin. Obviously, it depends on the individual, but I just need enough fat to be able to make the difference that you're looking for in the area that we transfer. So it depends on where we get the fat from. If you're thinner, we may have to treat more areas to get enough fat. So basically scraping from all over the place, and from abdomen, the waist, the arms, the thighs, and there's fat all over. So it just depends on how motivated you are and what you're willing to do. If you were told that you don't have enough fat, the solution to that is to gain a few pounds is typically our recommendations. Usually, 5 or 10 pounds is sufficient, and essentially what you're doing is you're just expanding the fat supply. And when you expand that fat supply, when I remove it out, so most people are like, when they're too skinny and they don't have enough fat, they're like, to them, they don't want to gain weight because they have that mentality that they think that they're fat, even though they're really not. But they don't want to gain the weight. So what I tell them is that whatever you gain, I'm going to be sucking out. So you don't have to fear, gaining weight. So if you feel like you don't have enough fat, just gain a little bit of weight. But again, get your consultation. We can give you more specific information on you and what's possible for your body. So, all right. Any other quick questions before I jump off? You guys see anything?
Mr. Kevin Hoffman is talking about lipo etching.
Oh, lipo etching. I saw there was an article recently, Kevin. You probably saw the same article. So lipo etching, I haven't had a lot of experience doing that. I've done a few over the years. I just, philosophically, I don't agree with it. Lipo etching is literally, it's like getting ultra aggressive in the lines of where we would be, where you would have the six pack. So it's possible. Um, I've done a few of them, but my philosophy is if I can get as much fat out as possible, then if you have a thin enough layer, your muscles will show through, and it'll be a natural six pack. And that's what I mean. That's what I believe is the best. But that's my beliefs, and I know I'm smart enough to know that I'm not always right. So if it's something that you're interested in, it's something that you want, it is possible. So, but basically, what we're doing is we're carving out the six pack. We're carving out the lines of where the muscles would be. Now, here's the thing: is that if I carve it out and I'm wrong, and your muscles happen to be a little bit off, that's another. To me, it doesn't necessarily make sense. But I'm open. Like I said, anything's possible, and if anybody can do it, I can do it. I feel like I can do pretty much anything when it comes to sucking out fat. So I know it's possible, and I've had, like I said, I've had a couple people that wanted it, and I've done it for them. Those individuals were from out of state, and men usually don't come back anyways. Men don't tell anybody that they get these procedures, and they don't return phone calls to us. They don't send us pictures, and it kind of sucks because it would be good to be able to show you guys what those look like, but unfortunately I don't have that. All right. What's up, Audra? Audra, you're jumping on. I'm just about to jump off. But thank you guys so much for coming on here with me. I appreciate it. Mimi, can you have lipo and take the fat to get? Yeah, that's a Brazilian butt lift. Brazilian butt lift is a fat transfer, Mimi. Get your consultation, Mimi. I think you're ready. Okay, so thank you guys again, and don't forget to get your consultations and get your deposits down to sign up for the sign up for the procedure. 360 lipo, get your butt. All right, I'll talk.